meters to determine a national champion. And they are underway. A sprint up the hill. And the sun back out again. We do not anticipate there's going to be any heavy moisture that's going to slow down this field. And a pretty healthy sprint out. A little dip here you have to be wary of. Come through a low area, now back up the rise. And it appears that on the left side of the screen, Mutai got out to a very fast start, as we would expect, up the hill. Try and win this title again. That is the case. Ezra Mutai wears bib 29 in this race. 34 teams, 24 individuals. And there is the reigning champ who wants to go wire to wire to win this race again. So already a quick sprint, and about 6 athletes wanting to go with it. A little stumble there behind Mutai. Ryan Hartman. Matthew Fowler from Catawba up near the top. Patrick Kipper, freshman from Fresno Pacific, wants to shock a few in the field. That's Ryan Riddle from Missouri Southern, the big yellow jersey that was tucked in right behind Mutai. He won the Central Regional. He's coming in off of 5 straight wins. Will he be the #1 threat to Ezra Mutai, the sophomore from Eldoret, Kenya? Also won the 10,000 meter outdoors earlier this year. Mines with Dylan Powell. The RMEC and South Central Regional champion, won both of those races by 20 seconds or more. A real serious flex at the beginning of this 10,000 meters by some of the best runners in the country to separate quickly and challenge anybody else that wants to be to the front to match this very quick pace. Mutai winning this championship in 2019 with a time of 29 minutes, 31.2 seconds. Well off the 1993 10,000 meter record of Shane Healy from Adams State, but impressive nonetheless. So it's Mutai, Kiprup, and Riddle, 1, 2, and 3. With Dylan Powell from Mines tucked in, making it a group of 4 at the front of this pack. There you see 2 from the Lakers. A lot of black jerseys. Wingate, first ever Southeast Regional champion. Their women are coming off a 5th place finish. How about that? 19 spots better than their highest performance in the national meet. There could be more than one winner in many ways in these meets, and the ladies from Wingate doing that just earlier today. Congratulations to Adams State, the 2021 champions on the ladies' side. The men come in 13-time national champions for the Grizzlies, but are going to need a really, really good race if the Grizzlies are going to continue a streak of finishing 1st or 2nd in this championship meet, which they have done 16 of the last 17 NCAA championship competitions. A massive scrum from a position about 10 all the way to the back of the field once you get away from the front, as they whip around this farthest corner from where we began the start. A full 1,000 meters into this race, and we'll start getting 1,300 meter times coming up here at the top of the board. Mutai setting the pace. A quartet. Kiprup, then Powell with Ryan Riddle and that long frame right behind, as these 4 appear to be the ones willing to make a go at a faster pace start. And what makes it so fascinating in all of this is that you have really all 4 of these runners at the front of this race, with the exception of Dylan Powell, competing really for themselves. They have teams here. Mutai's got the rest of his Yellow Jackets from American International here, but certainly don't have the depth to compete with Mines or Grand Valley State. Patrick Kiprop from Fresno Pacific, who's hasn't lost a race this year, certainly running for his own personal glory. And you could say the same for Ryan Riddle from Missouri Southern. The Lions are here, the Central Regional champions, but likely know it's going to take a perfect run today. So especially if you're Dylan Powell for Mines and you want to best this field, lead your team to a victory, you don't want to be dictated necessarily by the pace, but again, such a great, solid runner. He thinks that he can not only finish high for his team, but also grab a spot for his own at the top of the board. There are the Grand Valley State Lakers, Harding and Chata together. I wonder if there's going to be a kick from Isaac Harding, the GLIAC champion. Didn't run at the regionals, but did run second to Mutai outdoors in the 10,000 meters. Is he going to try and put a little kick on? We saw the kick from the Lakers ladies earlier today. Hannah Becker and Claudia O'Malley sort of hung back from the very, very front of the race before pulling away and finishing 1-2. GVSU not enough at the 3, 4, and 5 spots to best Adams State. All right, officially at 1,300 meters, it was Adams State, I should say unofficially, but we've had enough runners cross at 1,300 meters to get a handle of this. Adams State, the leader, over Grand Valley State, Western Colorado, Augustana, and American International, your 1 through 5. So Mines at that juncture slotting into 6th, but again, so many runners at the same time. Takes a lot of time for the chips to relay the proper scores. Great golf course property layout here, which allows for the fans to stream across and get to various junctures of this. It's a really great spectator view because you can find your way very easily to about 7 or 8 spots without traveling too much distance to watch this race. Riddle is not maintaining the pace at the front. It's a trio now between Powell and Kiprop keeping the pace with Ezra Mutai. Weave their way around this little corner. Then they'll make a big right-hand sweeping turn before you get another straightaway, and that's what the top 3 find themselves in now. And Powell puts his shoulder in front of Mutai. Give the reigning champion an indication that he is going to be completely game for a sprint all the way to the finish in this 10,000 meter race. The always loaded South Central region won this year by Dylan Powell from Mines, and he goes stride for stride right now with the East Regional champion in Ezra Mutai. You see those very distinctive Adams State jerseys. They had done enough, at least at the 1,300 meter split, to lead this race. Will they have the fitness to maintain those positions unofficially with all 5 runners inside the top 30? Grand Valley State number 5 runner was 76th, which is hurting the Lakers' chances right now. Can they improve upon that? It was Andrew Hyland who was slightly off the pace. .3,000 meter splits will start to come our way. They cross that threshold here in that straightaway before making a slight left-hand turn. A blistering pace set by the front. Really stretched out this field, not even to the halfway point. And the most impressive thing about this sport is not the speed, it's not the pace, it's the patience. For those runners trying to understand their limits, what they are capable of, what they can do to make sure they can maximize and finish as high enough for their teams. Kiprop has dropped off of the pace. Powell refuses to let Mutai go. And as the 3,000-meter splits start to trickle in, it appears that Mines has made up significant ground from those 1,300-meter splits. Enough to make it nearly a dead heat in the top three between Mines, Adams State, and Grand Valley State. .834.4, the split time at 3,000 meters for these two up front. So past the box, up this hill, the first time sprinting away from the rest of the pack. This time, this duo sprinting away from everybody. They will have to do this climb one more time in this race. There's Ryan Riddle. He lost the pace, and he's trying to maintain it out of the sprint. Good run from Carly Stimpfel from Saginaw Valley, maintaining a top 5 position. But look at the gap that the top two have put, not just on third, but then all the way back to a scrum running 4th through 8th, and then the rest of the field. This is what Mutai did at the East Regional, admittedly not one of the stronger of the regionals in the country when he won by 1:40, but both he and Dylan Powell making everybody quite foolish. A little peek there from Mutai over his right shoulder. Two races within one, but only one man on this screen. And these top two is also trying to pull along his entire team behind him for a national championship. Again, yes, Mutai does have his American International teammates here, but you're facing the #1 ranked team in the country in the Ore Diggers of Colorado School of Mines, and Dylan Powell's trying to finish first, not second, knowing that that one position may be the difference in a national championship run, and you're trying to earn that one extra point by sprinting alongside the fastest man in Division II men's cross country over the last couple of years, with a lost season in 2020. Pacing themselves here as they fall down the hill. After making the turn, they'll turn back to the left-hand side. As more results came in, 3,000 meters, it could not be closer. Mines 91 points, Adams State 92, Grand Valley State 97. 6 points separating first and third at the 3,000 meter mark. Mines with Powell in first. I should say Powell was second at that split, just behind Mutai. This juncture, you're just counting jerseys. How quickly can you find your top 5? I can find the top 2. We're going to get split times here of just how big the gap is as we have reached the halfway mark of this 10,000 meter race, at least for the leaders. Made that turn. Little elevation here. They'll shift and get a bit of a breather. They come down to complete 6,000 meters in this race. Again, it's just a 2 out front, so the splits are going to be coming at sort of awkward times. We have 4,300 meter numbers coming to us right now, while Mutai and Powell are already heading past the 5,000 meter mark. Again, slowly working through the pack, it appears, at least at the top, that Grand Valley State had made up some ground at the 4,300 split from where we were at 3,000. They had their 4 and 5 runners come across before Colorado School of Mines. And speaking of mines, at the front, now Dylan Powell decides to challenge the champion. He sprints ahead past the midway point, trying to put down the afterburner here, open up some space. What a run perhaps in the making here for Dylan Powell. 2 sophomores at the top of the sport. There you see the Lakers tucked into one another, maintaining really strong upper level positions. That's why Grand Valley State at 4,300 was shown at the moment ahead by just 5 points. What changes will we see in the second half of this race? But Powell exerting a lot of energy, but doing so in a dominating way, leaving Mutai in his dust now 8-9 seconds behind to the reigning champion. No looking over his shoulder. Powell appears to feel very comfortable with the pace he is running. Again, had no one within striking distance in any of his postseason meets when it came to the end. A 20-second win at the loaded RMAC Championship. A 27-second win at the loaded South Central Regional Championship. Run of the life right now for Dylan Powell, and hoping that it's going to be enough for his team behind, who are in an absolute fight right now. Trying to hold on to the top spot. And how big a #1 finish could be for the Ore Diggers. Trying to go back-to-back as national champions, become 3-time national champions. Mutai definitely fading. You could even see the pack that begins with 3rd position starting to get closer to Mutai than Mutai is to Powell up at the front of this race. Third and 4th running right now for Grand Valley State. Chata and Harding leading that charge for the Lakers. And 2 across for Adams State. Carson Bix and Ahmed Sato. But giving up position, and there you see that battle. A Laker right next to a Grizzly. Good team depth if they can maintain those positions, but the depth right now of Mines, perhaps even greater. Mutai in second still. He's found a little bit better fitness. There come Harding and Chada, stride for stride with each other. Dylan Coe was the second oar digger with his teammate Powell out front. But right now, no challenge being offered to the sophomore Dylan Powell.
Yep, one more time. They just told me too. I was like, okay.
Trying to become the first oar digger to win an individual championship. And unless he has gone too fast for his own fitness, he is in complete control of this race. Still a long 7-8 minutes. You see the breeze whipping across from his right-hand side. Just alone with his thoughts and his own pacing. Hugging that line, minimizing the centimeters he has to cover to get all the way to the finish. Mutai is in his defense, sort of held on to the gap now behind a second, but he's getting reeled in by the duo in third and fourth. Oh, Powell really driving the legs to get up the hill. Oh, he's falling forward. Powell in pain and hurting, and he just can't maintain the pace, and now crawls. Ran himself out coming up the hill. Has to figure it out. And a disastrous position here for the oar diggers as he tries to find his legs. A dramatic turn in this race. Mutai caught by the Lakers duo. Harding and Chada go right by. Again, that hill was going to be such a big part of this race the last time they have to run it, and it's the Grand Valley State duo that was prepared the most to be able to make it happen. It was an incredible pace by Dylan Powell, but a somewhat stunning development in this race for the defending champions to have that happen. And if you were Ezra Mutai, you're thinking, okay, here's my chance. But the duo now of Harding and Chada have taken over control of this race. And like the ladies did before, and we could have a 1-2 finish for Grand Valley State, and how big that could be for the Lakers in trying to win another national championship. Chada, a quick turn and look at his teammate Harding, and how helpful this must be to have a training partner, a friend alongside to pull you along the last 1,000+ meters. We've also lost live timing and scoring, at least from our position here, so not getting a good idea of where things are shaking out at the remaining splits. We're going to get splits at 8,000 and 8,800, but nothing delivered here. We're just watching the drama unfold at the front of the pack. The shocking fall by Dylan Powell, who ran out of gas trying to head up the hill. Mutai has been caught and passed. Carly Stimpfel from Saginaw Valley's slid into the 3rd position, it appears, behind this duo. Mutai's run as national champion appears to be over unless he can find something and dig deep. There goes Stimpfel. And now the lead oar digger at the front of the pack is Dylan Coe. And there is no sign right now of Dylan Powell, who got back to his feet but did not look well when he climbed that hill for a 3rd time. So with the top lead runner out and laboring, and there's still no Powell here as we make our way through this pack, the oar diggers' chances looking pretty bleak right now, and a massive opening for Grand Valley State, or even for Adams State if they can reel a few in. The humidity certainly something to deal with. Many of these runners coming from campuses of elevation but drier climates. And for the Grand Valley State duo of Isaac Harding and Tanner Chata out in front, tested in those hills you can find along the coast. In Western Michigan, you certainly get some late summer heat and humidity to deal with in training. Coming to Florida, not as much of a physical challenge. And there is nobody that's going to catch this duo at the front, just a couple of minutes away from the finish line. Again, timing and scoring struggling to catch up right now, so we don't have perfect live results, but just knowing what we've seen in this race, a massive opportunity here for Grand Valley State, not just to finish 1 and 2, which appears, barring another unforeseen collapse by a lead runner, a really good position. You see a peak there from Tanner Chata. The junior finished 2nd at both the GLIAC meet and the Midwest Regional, and ran 24th in this championship 2 years ago. Harding now in front of him by a split second. Ran from Michigan before transferring into Grand Valley State. Did not run in the regional meet. And that appears to be allowing these legs to drive forward towards the finish line. In so many respects, team before self. Chata takes a peek. If he's not feeling the pace right now, all he has to worry about is maintaining a little bit of a gap all the way back to 3rd. But Carly Stimpfel is running as an individual. So that position in 3rd is not going to cost Grand Valley State should Chata get run down by Stimpfel. Carson Bix near the top. You see Mutai has gotten caught by several other runners, so he will not repeat as champion. Another Laker, a couple of oar diggers trying to find anything as they make their way towards the tape. Well, the wind's going to make this last little sprint even that more challenging. We've already seen the hills of this Abbey course, which is relatively flat, to be honest, completely gobble up the oar digger Dylan Powell, who sprinted ahead and just gave himself a pace that was unsustainable. Chata holding that inside line, trying to make it 1-2 on the finish, but in front of him, Isaac Harding, transferred to Grand Valley State from Michigan, finished 2nd in the outdoors, the 10,000 meters. He makes the turn to the finish line, puts some distance between he and his teammate, and it appears the Lakers are going to go 1-2 in this meet as well, as Isaac Harding is a Division II individual champion. Chata falls behind him, 1-2 for the Lakers. What a run. They leave it all out there. Harding still on his feet, cooling down in this humidity. In a meet that will be talked about for a long time. That's a pumped up young man right there. An unsustainable pace from Dylan Powell from Colorado School of Mines in their hopes of going back-to-back as NCAA champions. Bit of a downhill sprint as they continue to fly across the finish line. Now every position really mattering. Again, we don't have official timing coming in. The system has been down for much of this race. So we're going to wait and see as runners come across exactly what the end result might be. But if there was any sharing of information, as soon as Dylan Powell went down for Mines, Adams State, Grand Valley State, the position battles became even more important. Trying to clear the chute to get runners through. But a brutally, physically taxing race has taken its toll in some of the most dramatic ways. And you can really see how it's spaced out this field at 10,000 meters. Grand Valley State in phenomenal position at the end of this race to win its second national championship. Crossed over that threshold in 2018 with the title. And could be champions again this year thanks to the 1-2 finish from Isaac Harding and Tanner Chata. It is both uncomfortable and yet beautiful to watch the best athletes in the country literally use every ounce of energy just to get it across the finish line. And you can even see final runners barely making it across. Bodies pushed to the outer limits of capability. Or this final sprint to the finish made even more dramatic by the downhill grade. The legs unable to even slow down this sprint to the finish. Hoping to see some results coming through, and we are starting to see some what appear to be more accurate results coming through. Harding's winning time, he breaks 30 minutes, 29:58.3 in this humid race. Chata 9 seconds behind him. 1 and 2 the point getters for Grand Valley State, and as they continue to come through right now, very unofficial and very early, a 20-point lead for Grand Valley State at the top of the board. But again, that we have to cycle through a number of runners, many of whom have teammates that still need to cross, which will then qualify those scores. But it appears Grand Valley State, if you look at the nearest competitor, Adams State and Colorado School of Mines, you get 1 and 2 for the Lakers, and the number 4 and 5 runners both came across before 4 and 5 for Adams State and Colorado School of Mines. So even if you have a slight point adjustment for where they may fall, it appears pretty simple based off of the initial returns from timing that the Lakers have won their second national championship, as they got 5 runners across, at least according to the unofficial timing results, before any of their nearest and deepest rivals. And there's the individual champion, Isaac Harding. An unsustainable pace run by those at the top, and very much like the ladies from GVSU and Hannah Becker and Claudia O'Malley, stuck to their own pacing, reeled in the leaders, and ran away from the field. And the decision for Harding to come from Division I Michigan down to Division II Grand Valley State may have paid off in the biggest way for him to be not only an individual champion, but bring his team its second NCAA championship.
Is it official? Is it official? Do you know? No, I don't know.
They're asking if it's official. We won't know officially for 30 minutes, but it's looking really good right now. More results coming in, the lead widening to 39 points unofficially for Grand Valley State. An incredible run. One thing you cannot deny is that Isaac Harding crossed first as he becomes an individual champion here in 2021. And just phenomenal teamwork. He and his teammate Tanner Chada stayed together, refused to go out and meet the early test, the early pace that Ezra Mutai set. You see Mutai fell out of the top 10 when it was all said and done, all the way down to 11th. And then Dylan Powell, who challenged Mutai's pace early, only to completely break down in the final climb with about 2,000 meters or so to go in this race. Andrew Hyland and Nail Woldemichael, you see there on your screen, 1, 2, 12 and 14, which end up being 10 and 12 when you remove the individual runs, including Carly Stimfel. Great run from the Saginaw Valley junior to finish top 3. But the big story, the defending champions from Colorado School of Mines, with the breakdown of Dylan Powell opening this opportunity. Celebration is on for Grand Valley State. We know that Isaac Harding is your individual champion and looking really good that they are team champions. It's not official, but it might as well be for the Lakers. We'll be right back here in St. Leo, Florida, as Grand Valley State begins the celebration. A memorable day for Grand Valley State. The Lakers go 1-2 individually in both the women's and men's races, and putting a bow on this 10,000-meter championship run for the men. The celebration continued. Congratulations to Isaac Harding, your individual champion. And again, while it is not official, we can see who crossed first. Grand Valley State going to win a national championship for the second time. A solid race at the top, a patient race by two of the country's best, and Harding and Chada biding their time, waiting patiently, attacking, taking advantage of one of the more dramatic moments we've seen in this Division II race, when Dylan Powell broke down for Colorado School of Mines while leading this race by a comfortable margin. He ends up not finishing as a top 5 runner for Colorado Mines, and well, you see that gap, counting a 73rd place finish. And what could have been for the reigning champions of the sport, it was the Lakers that picked up the opportunity and ran with it to the finish line. It appears to be a comfortable win for Grand Valley State and their second national championship. Adams State was right there, the 13-time national champs, but just didn't have the depth at 4 and 5 that the Lakers had in these challenging, humid conditions today, in a race that saw only one runner eclipse 30 minutes in the final. Augustana 4th, UC Colorado Springs 5th, and congratulations to Wingate, who won their first ever Southeast Regional Championship with 7 runners setting school records in the 10,000 meters, and they parlay that into a 6th place finish here at the National Championship meet. But an incredible run at the top in both races. And while it wasn't enough for Grand Valley State on the ladies' side to have two runners carry each other across the finish line, it happens again in the men's race. And it's a happy, happy bunch heading back to Grand Rapids for GVSU. Your men's champion here in 2021. We will have all of the awards for both of our races coming up. You can watch those right here on NCAA.com. As soon as everything is official, they will be streaming here. But for our entire crew, I'm Will Haskett for the moment, saying so long from St. Leo, Florida. Stick around for the awards. Congratulations to the Adams State Grizzlies on the ladies' side, the Grand Valley State Lakers on the men's side, your 2021 Division II cross-country champions.
All right, 15th place finisher today, a junior from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Iwaki Zaru. Number 14, a senior from Grand Valley State, Enal Woda Michael. Number 13, a senior from Colorado Mines, Jake Mitchum. Number 12 today, a sophomore from Grand Valley State, Andrew Highland. Your 11th place finisher today, a junior from American International, Ezra Mutai. Tenth place finisher, a sophomore from Queens in North Carolina. He ran 30:41, John Lucas Becker. Number 9 today, a junior from Colorado Mines, 30:40 the time for Kyle Moran. Your 8th place finisher today, a junior from UNC Pembroke. He ran 30:39, Joshua Jepkasir.
Yeah, Josh! Let's go, baby!
7th place finisher today, a senior from Adams State. His time was 30:36, Carson Fix. Number 6 today, a freshman, Missouri Southern. He ran 30:33, JP Rutledge. Number 5 today, a junior from Adams State, 30 minutes, 26 seconds to time for Isaiah Rodarte. Your 4th place finisher, a senior from Colorado Mines. He ran 30 minutes, 19 seconds, Dylan Coe. Your 3rd place finisher today, a junior from Saginaw Valley, 30 minutes, 9 seconds to time for Carly Stimple. Your runner-up from Grand Valley State, he ran 30 minutes, 7 seconds, Tanner Cutta. Your individual national champion, a senior from Grand Valley State. He cracks 30 minutes with 29:58 his official time. Isaac Harding. 1, 2, 3 sweep for the conference and the region. Grand Valley State 1 and 2 with Harding and Chata. These are your top 15 individuals. The men's 10,000 meters. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Congratulations, gentlemen. Your top 10 teams today. Finishing 10th with 360 points was Colorado Christian. Number 9, Lewis with 347. Number 8 was Chico State with 312. Number 7, Western Colorado, 302. Number 6 was Wingate with 290. Number 5, UC Colorado Springs with 254. And 4th place today in the men's team competition, Augustana with 222 points. Coach Chris Bradford will present this trophy to Augustana, 220 points. 22. Again, let's give him a nice round of applause. Number 4 today in the men's championship with 222 points, Augustana out of South Dakota. Coach Lee Cortez is going to present number 3 today. And our 3rd place finishing team with 123 points, the Ordiggers from Colorado Mines. Coach Chris Seamer's team.
They just had 3 of them up here.
And again, let's give him a nice round of applause. Number 3 with 123 points. This award's going to be presented by Coach Kevin Curtin. And we'll present second place award to Adams State with 84 points. The Grizzlies out of Alamosa, Colorado. Coach Damon Martin and his team. Again, let's give him a nice round of applause. Your national runner-up today. 84 points, the Grizzlies.
Great job,
And representing Tribeca, we will have Desmond Pierce. He is going to present our championship trophy. He will present the championship trophy to the Lakers from Grand Valley State. 43 points out of Allendale, Michigan. Coach Jerry Baltus' team. Led by a 1-2 sweep.
Put shirts and hats on now.